I still remember the day I chose to betray him. It wasn't a sudden burst of madness, but a slow, deliberate descent, the kind that begins with a quiet whisper in your own mind telling you that you deserve more. I told myself it was harmless, that what he didn't know couldn't hurt him. I was wrong. Daniel wasn't a man who filled a room with noise. He never raised his voice, never demanded anything. He had this calm, steady presence that made you feel safe, even when the world outside was chaos. For 6 years, that quiet was my comfort, until one day it became my guilt. It began with curious messages that turned into confessions that led to late-night meetings. The other man, Mark, made me feel seen, desired, or maybe I just want to believe that. I told myself Daniel was distant, too calm, too predictable. I convinced myself I was missing something thrilling. And so I crossed a line I could never uncross. The affair lasted 3 months. 3 months of lies that felt liberating yet smelled of fear. I learned to smile while hiding decay behind my teeth. Then one Tuesday evening, I came home early, carefree, reckless, thinking I could juggle both lives. The lights were dim, the smell of roasted chicken in the air. Daniel sat at the dinner table, phone face down, a single plate before him. For a moment, I thought he was waiting for me. Then he looked up, and his eyes told me everything had shifted. "You're home early," he said quietly. Not accusing, not curious, just a simple fact, like he was reading the weather. I laughed nervously, tucking my hair behind my ear. Yeah, traffic was light. He nodded once and gestured to the chair across from him. "Sit." I sat, heart pounding so loud it drowned out the hum of the refrigerator. He picked up a folded piece of paper and slid it across the table. I didn't need to see the contents to know. Screenshots, messages, proof. I opened my mouth to speak, but he raised a hand. "Don't. Just listen." His voice was steady. No shaking, no tears, not even anger. That terrified me more than anything. "I spent weeks wondering what I did wrong," he said. "Maybe I wasn't affectionate enough. Too quiet, too steady. But then I realized something. Your betrayal isn't about me. You were chasing chaos. You wanted noise, so I'll give you silence." I stared at him, throat dry. "Daniel, please, I made a mistake." He leaned back. "No, Emily, you made a choice." The way he said my name wasn't tender. It was final, each syllable carving me out of his life. He stood, walked to the counter, and picked up a small envelope. "You'll find your things in the guest room. Tomorrow, movers will take the rest. You'll have what you need financially, but you won't have me." My chest collapsed inward. "You're just going to throw away 6 years?" He turned slightly, expression unreadable. "You already did." That night, he slept in the master bedroom. I lay awake in the guest room, listening to his measured footsteps above me. I wanted him to yell, curse, make me feel small, to justify the pain I'd caused, but he didn't. His silence was more devastating than any punishment I could imagine. The next morning, he left before I woke. No note, no goodbye, just absence. And in that cold, quiet house, I realized something terrifying. The real consequence of betrayal isn't losing the person you cheated with. It's losing the one who stayed silent long enough to let you destroy yourself. The days that followed felt like walking through a world stripped of sound. Every corner of the house screamed with memories I couldn't escape. His coffee mug, the faint scent of cologne on the couch, the framed photo from our Seattle trip. All evidence of a crime I hadn't been punished enough for. He didn't block me, rage online, or message friends. He simply disappeared. That silence wasn't mercy. It was execution. I tried to reach him, calls, texts, emails. Nothing. A mutual friend said he'd taken time off work, focusing on himself. That phrase, so clean and casual, felt like a knife twisting slowly. Meanwhile, Mark, the man I'd risked everything for, began fading the moment Daniel was gone. What had once thrilled me now seemed shallow. He looked at me differently, less admiration, more possession. And when I cried, missing the quiet stability I'd taken for granted, he said, "You chose this, Emily. Don't start regretting it now." That night, I packed a bag and left Mark's apartment. I didn't go home. I couldn't. I went to my sister's. She said little, just opened the door, stared at me, and whispered, "What did you do?" I collapsed on her couch, sobbing until nothing was left. Between gasps, I admitted the words I'd never spoken aloud. He didn't yell, didn't fight. He just left. That's what broke me. Months later, I saw him again at a small cafe near our old apartment. He looked different, lighter, clearer, hair shorter. Across from him sat a woman I didn't recognize. She laughed. He smiled that effortless way I hadn't seen in years. I wanted to apologize, but he saw me first. Our eyes met for a second, and in that glance, I saw everything. Recognition, forgiveness, distance. No anger, something colder. Peace. He nodded politely, like acknowledging a stranger he once knew, then turned back to her. That's when I understood the full weight of his punishment. He didn't destroy me with rage or revenge. He simply moved on, letting time and silence erase the version of me that once mattered. I left the cafe, walking aimlessly, my reflection in every window a ghost that refused to fade. I thought about all the times I'd wished he'd been louder, more dramatic, but his quiet had always been his strength. Now it was my haunting. Years later, people ask why I never remarried. I tell them I'm focusing on myself. The truth is, once you've been loved by someone who gave you peace, chaos never feels like passion again. It just feels empty. Sometimes I replay that last dinner in my head. The chicken cooling on the plate, the folded paper, his steady voice. You made a choice. How easy it was to take a good man for granted because he didn't shout, fight, or make me fear losing him. But I did lose him. Not in a storm, not in an explosion, just in a single, quiet moment of truth. And every time I hear silence now, I remember him, the man I betrayed,